The Industrial Revolution, which began in Britain, quickly spread to other parts of Europe, North America, and beyond. The introduction of machines, steam power, and factories transformed economies, societies, and global trade. However, industrialization did not happen uniformly or simultaneously in every country. Some nations rapidly embraced new technologies, while others took longer to adapt. In this chapter, we will explore how industrialization spread across the world, the economic and social transformations it caused, and its lasting impact on different regions. How and why did industrialization spread? Britain was the first industrialized nation, but other countries observed its success and sought to replicate it. Several factors played a role in the spread of industrialization. Migration of skilled workers. Engineers, inventors, and craftsmen from Britain carried their expertise abroad. Investment and capital. Countries that had access to financial resources could build factories and infrastructure. Natural resources. Nations with coal, iron, and waterways could develop industry more easily. Government policies. Some governments encouraged industrial growth by investing in railroads and infrastructure. Industrialization in Western Europe. Belgium was the first country outside Britain to industrialize, using British technology to develop its coal, iron, and textile industries. France industrialized more slowly due to political instability, but its textile and railway industries grew. Germany became a major industrial power by the late 19th century, excelling in steel production, chemicals, and engineering. Industrialization in the United States. The U.S. Industrial Revolution took off in the early 19th century, boosted by abundant natural resources, immigration, and innovation. American inventors like Eli Whitney, cotton gin, and Thomas Edison, electricity, advanced industrial technology. The railroad boom connected cities, transporting raw materials and goods quickly. By the late 19th century, the U.S. had surpassed Britain as the world's largest industrial economy. Urbanization, the growth of industrial cities. Industrialization drew millions of people from rural areas to urban centers, creating rapidly expanding cities. London, Manchester, Berlin, and New York became industrial hubs. Factories needed large workforces, and workers settled in crowded urban neighborhoods. Overpopulation led to poor sanitation, pollution, and disease outbreaks. Working class life. Harsh conditions in factories. Long working hours, 12 to 16 hours a day, in unsafe environments. Child labor was widespread, with children working in factories and mines. Low wages barely covered living costs, leading to worker exploitation. Poor housing conditions led to the rise of slums and tenement housing. The rise of the middle class. Not everyone suffered. Factory owners, merchants, and bankers became wealthy. A new middle class emerged, including doctors, lawyers, engineers, and teachers. Middle-class families enjoyed better housing, education, and leisure activities. While industrialization improved economies, it also deepened class divisions, leading to social tensions. The role of capitalism in industrialization. Capitalism played a key role in industrial expansion. Private ownership, competition, and profit motives drove economic growth. Entrepreneurs invested in new inventions and factories. Banks and stock markets provided funding for large industrial projects. Corporations grew, forming massive industrial monopolies. The birth of monopolies and big business. By the late 19th century, some industries were controlled by powerful business tycoons. Andrew Carnegie in Steel Industry, U.S. John D. Rockefeller in Oil Industry, U.S. Cornelius Vanderbilt in Railroads, U.S. Alfred Krupp in Steel Industry, Germany. These business giants built industrial empires, but many accused them of exploiting workers and manipulating markets. This led to the first anti-monopoly laws and labor rights movements. Expansion of railroads. Railways expanded across Europe, North America, and Asia, allowing for fast transport of goods and people. The Transcontinental Railroad, U.S., 1869, and the Trans-Siberian Railway, Russia, 1891 to 1916, connected vast regions. Rail transport reduced travel time and boosted global trade. Steamships and global trade. Faster and larger steamships allowed mass migration and increased trade. The Suez Canal, 1869, and Panama Canal, 1914, revolutionized global shipping, reducing travel distances. Transportation improvements accelerated industrialization worldwide, making the world more interconnected. Japan, the first industrialized Asian nation. The Meiji Restoration in 1868 marked Japan's rapid modernization. Japan imported Western technology and built industries in steel, railroads, and shipbuilding. By 1905, Japan was a rising industrial power, defeating Russia in the Russo-Japanese War. China struggles with industrialization. The Qing dynasty resisted industrialization, fearing Western influence. The Opium Wars in 1839 to 1860 weakened China, forcing it to open its economy to foreign powers. By the late 19th century, China's economy struggled under Western domination. India, industrialization under British rule. India's textile industry suffered as British-made textiles flooded Indian markets. Railroads and telegraphs were introduced, but most profits benefited Britain. After independence in 1947, India began its own industrialization efforts. Industrialization did not spread evenly. While some nations thrived, others suffered exploitation and economic struggles. The fight for workers' rights. As industrialization spread, workers demanded better wages, shorter hours, and safer conditions. Trade unions were formed to negotiate with employers. Strikes and protests pressured governments to pass labor laws. Major labor reforms. By the late 19th and early 20th centuries, governments introduced reforms. Minimum wage laws, limits on child labor, safer working conditions, the 8-hour workday. These reforms improved workers' lives, but took decades of struggle to achieve. Conclusion: a global industrial era. By the early 20th century, industrialization had transformed the world. Countries had stronger economies and new industries. Cities grew into massive urban centers. Transportation connected the world like never before. Workers fought for and won better rights. But industrialization also created new problems: pollution, social inequality, and colonial exploitation. These issues would shape the next phase of human history. Stay tuned for Chapter 4, the technological revolution, electricity, automobiles, and the birth of modern industry. And if you like the content, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.